Good morning, everybody. Big Kev's World back at you with another video. I am your host, Big Kev. And if you see this little, my little new gym hoodie, it says "Fuck Your Feelings." Got the American flag and the 1776 thing right here. So, um, yeah, if you don't like that, then you can just kiss my ass for all I care. Now, for my man here, I'm just get this text in real quick. Hope everyone's having a great morning. Hope everyone had a great Christmas, an even better New Year's. This is 2022. I don't. If someone asked me the other day, do I do resolutions? Oh, the wrestling show, cool. Hey, what's up, guys? I saw y'all's day one, and I'm actually going to talk about the day one pay-per-view. I don't really watch a lot of WWE pay-per-views. And so in the title of this video, it's basically saying why Brock Lesnar being WWE champion is a good thing. Now, I know there's some fans on Twitter that were crying, spilling out all this bullshit. And this is the Immortal TNA Hogan bandana here, by the way, guys. You don't know if y'all can see the Immortal here, but anyway. So the reason why this is a good thing is, now I know some people are like, well, Big E, they didn't really give him a chance. They gave Big E a chance. Let's face it with Big E. What kind of character is Big E playing? I mean, because he's talking about stuff and he's still acting like he's part of the New Day, and it just doesn't work for me. Sorry about that. I got the wife texting me for a minute. So, yeah. Look, I like what they've done with Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. Don't get me wrong. But I'm actually glad that there is not going to be another Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Now, I heard the rumors that they might unify the belts at WrestleMania. I don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Save Roman and Brock for like SummerSlam here in Nashville, which SummerSlam will be here in Nashville in July, which I am possibly going to be going to. I want to. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a pay-per-view. I'm digging the new Brock Lesnar. Now, when he was a face back in 2003 for a little bit, like 2002, 2003, I was digging it then, but I love this old country hit Brock. I like the ponytail. I didn't like the ponytail at first, but it's growing on me. I like the ponytail. I like all this other stuff, and to me, it's just really cool because you're getting a different side to Brock. Brock's got that comedic side to him. You're seeing how charismatic Brock can be, and he's doing this without Paul Heyman. So I'm liking the new Brock Lesnar. I really do. I like how they're doing with Brock. Brock's a big box office draw, and I was talking about that in a past video, that there's really not many big draws in professional wrestling anymore, or in sports entertainment, whichever one you want to consider. Besides maybe Roman Reigns and Goldberg when he shows up every now and then, I don't really see anybody that catches your eye except for Brock Lesnar. And anytime he's been champion, some people are like, oh, well, he doesn't wrestle a full-time schedule. He doesn't need to. He is a special attraction. Every match that Brock's done, from the match he had with Daniel Bryan to AJ Styles, to CM Punk, a few others, I'm just naming off a couple that he's had, he's actually not that bad. Brock's actually pretty good. He sold in that Fatal 5-Way match. Couple of spots in that match, I didn't know if I was going to like when they said they were going to put Lesnar in there. I got excited though, because I've always wanted to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Bobby Lashley's been asking for it since 2008. I've been wanting to see it. I've been wanting to see those two big behemoths go at it. Both have amateur wrestling background. Both have a mixed martial arts background, and I was excited because when they said Lesnar was going to be in there, when I tuned into day one, I forgot that it was on at first. I tuned in right at the end of the Usos New Day match. So I kind of tuned in after that. It was cool to see the 3D. I know Bully Ray gave them some big pops up, but not going to really review day one. If you really want to see a good review about day one, I'm going to post the link in the description below. Go see my friends. Go see my new friends who I dearly love. They're great people. Go see Matt and Kate Jones, The Outliers, the wrestling show. They did a day one review. I'm going to post that down below. Go sub to them. Like it. I mean, and one of the things that Kate said in that review that I 100 wholeheartedly agree with is these weird camera angles that WWE has. They do this thing where, now, one of the best punchers in wrestling was The Undertaker, best pure striker. But Bret Hart, when he was champion and when he was wrestling, he had a really good punch to him. And you can actually see it. And the cameras didn't pan away from it. So when I saw their review last night and I saw Kate talking about that, I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. And I'm like, I'm glad somebody else said it. WWE didn't have much to work with. We all know Roman Reigns ended up contracting the virus. It's kind of a scary thing for Roman because I know he's had that leukemia and he's had that battle. We don't know what's going to happen with Drew McIntyre. Apparently his neck's been messed up. So you're looking at your WrestleMania 38 and you're like, wow, we're going to put Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar together. But honestly, this whole thing on day one opened up a new can of pretty much, I'm not trying to say this about Roman Reigns, but him being sick opened up the doors for WWE to do something different. And with AEW right there at them, they need to open up that door. So what I think is going to happen is, and if you saw the end of the match, there's that little stare down between Brock and Bobby Lashley. I think if you're going to pull the trigger, you want to do something big that some of the fans want to see, you book Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 38. I know some of y'all are like, no, but hold up. And here's what I would do. Goldberg's got one more deal match on his contract, right? So you want Roman Reigns to stay at that dominant heel that you want. Now, this also opens up the door because if I'm the writer in WWE, I look at this like, Paul Heyman's still Brock's advocate. He made him a free agent, which means Brock can go wherever he wants to go. This also helps build Paul Heyman back into the family. It will show him, it would show the Roman, look, man, I got Brock out of your way. I got Brock out of SmackDown. I got Brock out of your way. Now you can do whatever you want. And if you can't get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38, unless The Rock has called them and told them that it's going to happen, I don't know. But I'm like, if you want to keep Roman Reigns irrelevant and you want to keep him as this big force, you either do two things with Roman Reigns. Now, if Drew McIntyre is not hurt and his injury's not that bad, I would go. I would go with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38 with Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Now, if Drew is hurt, if The Rock agrees to it, then you do that match with The Rock and Roman Reigns. If The Rock can't do it, then you see whether or not John Cena wants a rematch from SummerSlam, or you do what we were supposed to see at WrestleMania 36 that didn't happen because of the pandemic. You got Goldberg's last match, right? Goldberg's last match on his deal. Why not have Goldberg versus Reigns? Have Reigns beat Goldberg, solidifying his spot more, because then it will build up more and more and more until Brock and Roman face each other. It builds it up. I think that's one of the best things you could possibly do in this situation. There's the rest of the show there. Awesome. Yeah. So we have some spam bullshit here. Block that stuff. Yeah, anyways, hashtag big kiss my ass club. Actually, I wouldn't want to get near my ass if I was you. Mel can attest to that, because a lot of that protein I eat with the eggs and tuna, you wouldn't want to do it. But getting back to what I was saying, the reason why I believe that this whole thing was great. Now, the Fatal 5-Way was good. I like the idea that they had with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins working together. They were trying to take out Lashley. They were also trying to take out Goldberg. I think that little splash on the outside of the ring that Kevin Owens did was great. I think when Kevin Owens tried to do the Swanton and they countered it, and then they also did the frog splash with Seth Rollins, I thought that was a really cool move for them to kind of work together like that. Seth Rollins doesn't get enough credit for a lot of the stuff that he does, and I'm a big KO fan. I love Kevin Owens. I liked him even back then when he was Kevin Steen. I like Owens. Owens did sign a new deal with WWE, but with the way WWE does stuff, even if you sign with them, your contract's really not guaranteed because they'll get rid of anybody. So your contract's really not saved. But I love the flow of what they did at with the Fatal 5-Way. The spot where Bobby Lashley speared Brock Lesnar through the barricade, I thought was great. The spot where Bobby Lashley got spine buster through the table from Big E was a good spot as well. It was fast paced, but it kept the crowd engaged. You saw that Atlanta crowd; they were engaged with it. Brock doing him suplexes, doing the F5. Now, where I saw Brock at his most vulnerable, Brock can sell. A lot of people, you can go back some of your Brock Lesnar matches, Brock will sell. Brock will sell the shit out of a 5-pound bag. Brock is actually a good seller. A lot of people don't give Brock Lesnar enough credit for his selling, but Brock can tell a story in the ring. In and out of the ring. So I think in a lot of ways, Brock sold that hurt lot like a pro. Man, Bobby Lashley had it synced in. Brock was down to one knee. Brock looked like he was fading before Big E came in there. Hit him, hit the big ending, and then he tried the big ending on Brock. Brock reverses it. F5, boom, 1, 2, 3. The reason why I think they're going to go with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar is Brock's over there laughing with the WWE Championship. Bobby's furious. Bobby Lashley wants that belt back. He looked at him. I think if it's not going to be at the Royal Rumble, then at WrestleMania 38, you got to put Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And I don't want Brock Lesnar to go in there and squash him either. I want this to be a brute. Two big bulls going at it, locking horns. And I think that this would be a good thing. It would be a great thing because now you can save the Roman and Brock for another day. Because now you don't necessarily have to do Brock and Roman at WrestleMania. Now I hope Vince McMahon still got enough brain cells in that old brain of his to understand that you don't have to do title versus title. Now, I think that would be the dumbest thing they could do because obviously you got one champion on Fox and one champion on USA. If you unify it again, I mean, that means you have to unify the women's championship, and you would have to unify the tag team championships, and so on and so on. So I think you put Roman with somebody else at WrestleMania 38. I can give you a list. You can go with Goldberg and Roman. If Rock's available, you go with Rock and Roman. If Drew's not hurt, you go with Drew and Roman. Or, this is a good one here. Have Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins goes and challenges Roman Reigns, and have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38. That's another thing that you can do. So, or you can, if Cena's available, you want to do that rematch from SummerSlam with Cena and Reigns, then go ahead, do it. But do not do Brock versus Roman, champion versus champion. I don't want to see it. I don't know about the rest of you. You can tell me in the comments below or in this comment section box right here. What do you think? Obviously, I'm not thinking that way. I don't want to see that. So also another thing that's good here, going back to it, I want to send my condolences to Betty White's family. If anybody knows me and Mel love Betty White. Such a gorgeous woman for her age. 99 years old, was about to turn 100 years old on January the 17th. And Betty White reminded me so much of my grandmother that passed away about 12 years ago. So that hit me hard. When I heard that Betty White passed away, that almost affected my New Year's Eve. Like, I was really conflicted on that because I was like, man, this woman's going to live forever. She's a national treasure. And so I was a little taken back by that. But also, don't worry, guys. The Big Kev concert is still coming. I'm working on the details on that. You're going to see the last ever FWE pay-per-view ever done. That's still in the works. If you guys had a chance to check it out, if you haven't yet, go check out my interview with superstar Xavier Michaels. It was a 2-hour-long interview, but picking his brain and learning more about the business behind the scenes and how he, that was just really cool for me. Getting to understand that perspective. And I want to start doing my movie reviews again. We're going to start coming up here. Me and Mel have been watching a lot of movies lately, so that's happening. We're going to have another marriage talk, like a little marriage talk thing. I'm going to start doing some of my impressions on here. Also on my TikTok, which is at Big Kev's World. You can find me on TikTok. It's easy to find me. And also, I'm going to start doing a little bit more gaming. But the one thing I have started doing here in the last couple of days is I'm retraining myself again. It's been a long time since I've stepped foot in a wrestling ring. There's a place up in Rockford, Illinois, the wrestling show. Matt and Kate. Me and Mel would love to do it. I would love to do it. Now, it's been a while since I've been in a ring, But they always say it's like riding a bike. I'm getting myself in even better shape than I was before the pandemic. So I'm working on that. Because when I go something, I go 110 miles an hour and I go 110% with what I do. If it doesn't look right, if I don't think I'm going to look right, I won't do it. That's how I am. I have a little bit of that perfectionist part of me. So if it's not right, I won't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is for me. But that itch has been there for a little bit. Doing these interviews, these interview series like Inside the Squared Circle has really brought out a love for wrestling that I had hidden deep. I had it deep in there for a long time. Like it's been you too, man. The wrestling has been like deep into me. Like it's been in my blood for years, but maybe the last 2 or 3 years, I haven't loved it like I used to. I haven't really watched it like I used to. I haven't really done that like I used to. And it's one of those things where coming back on YouTube, doing the podcast again, and doing these interview series with the wrestling show and a couple other people has really brought out my new love, brought out the old love I had for professional wrestling. It's one of those things where when you go on the Peacock now, I go back and I watch old Royal Rumbles. I go back and watch the old WrestleManias and stuff like that. I feel like that kid who got lost in the Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, got lost and bumped right into Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. I feel like that guy, that kid that basically was like, man. And that's the one thing, too, with wrestling that's missing is not just those punches that Kate was talking about and not just the camera angles. What's also missing, too, is, and I hate to say this, I think these wrestlers go way too fast. So 110 miles an hour with their craft. I understand you're trying to do all your moveset and you're trying to do it, but honestly, you got to tell a story in the ring. The one thing is you want to be yourself with the volume cranked up, but you also want to tell a story. Now, you can go and do all your high flying, your flips, and get all your movesets in, which is what AEW does, which irritates me to hell when they do that. Sometimes a slow, methodical pace is kind of what I would be looking for. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is that slow, methodical pace. When I watch wrestling, when I trained and when I've actually teach Mel how to do stuff, I taught her the old textbook way, lock up, headlock, boom, boom. But I like the old school submissions. When Piper would get you in that sleeper hold, you're done. Like when you would be like in moves, the wrestlers would take a little bit and then they would take the arm, drop the arm 1 and 2, and then, do that stuff. That stuff to me is missing in wrestling now. It's just like, so like when the crowd starts going and they're just like, it was missing. Hogan was great at it. The Rock was great at that. It's an art form that's missing. An art form that is missing with wrestling on not just WWE, but AEW too. Now, I have an old school wrestling mentality. I want to see the territories again. And the reason why I want to see the territories again is because I want to see, it's great when WWF back then would give Andre, and Andre would go over here, and then you would have Harley Race come over here, and then this person come over here, Terry Funk would come over here, and they would work together. And I think that could be where wrestling could be at in the next 5 or 10 years. Sorry about that. So, yeah. I think that could be where wrestling goes. Um, and so I'm a little worried, and I agree with Matt on their review. It worries me a little bit because I see WWE, and we all know how WCW was right before they closed their doors. WWE didn't have that big old Titantron anymore, and their production quality wasn't there for this pay per view, and it worries me because I'm sitting there thinking, well, maybe they will be, maybe they're going out of business. Who knows? Um, I can tell you this much: Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, WrestleMania 38. If they don't book this, this would be the biggest mistake WWE has made in a very, very long time. Because now you would get the eye on the product, because people are going to watch SmackDown because one, it's Fox. It's a big company. Roman Reigns is the top dog there. Roman Reigns, when he's on there, the ratings are up. So you don't have to worry about that. You want to worry now. Raw's ratings are going to go up a little bit more because Monday Night Football will be gone after this coming week. There will be no more Monday Night Football. So now you're going into that WrestleMania season, the Royal Rumble. WWE's getting rid of a lot of people. I still believe, and someone thought I was crazy for saying this the other day, I still believe that the reason why Bray Wyatt got fired was not because of this whole dirt sheet. Oh, he was upset and blah, blah, blah. I think the death of Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper, hit Bray Wyatt hard. And Bray Wyatt was getting depressed. And I feel like Bray Wyatt asked to be released. That's my equation on it. I guess you want to call it conspiracy if you want to. I think Bray still has ties with WWE. And I think when Bray is ready to come back to wrestling, that's where he'll go. Because if he really wanted to be wrestling, when his contract ended in October, he would have already signed with Tony Khan and AEW. So I think there's something still there with Bray. And I hope to God they bring him back. That's one guy that's been really missing on there. And I know that Matt Jones knows this guy here. Braun Strowman. As much as people want to say, I heard Ryback might be coming back. I follow him on TikTok, and he's been talking about coming back and everything like that. So, I don't know. I'll tell you what, though, I would like to punch Braun in the face, too. I don't know what it is about Braun Strowman. I look at him ever since Matt said that ever since he said that on the interview, I look at Braun Strowman, I just want to punch him as well. As a matter of fact, maybe I might join Matt. We might double kick him in the face or something like that. I mean, there's something about Braun Strowman I never did like, and I never got the picture of him. I never understood what the appeal to Braun Strowman was. And I still don't understand the appeal. Now, I know I ruffled some feathers with that Goldberg video about him and Cody Rhodes, but let's face it. Goldberg just celebrated a birthday. Goldberg just celebrated a birthday on December the 28th. So now he is 55 years old. The fact that he speared Bobby Lashley off the top of the walkway that's like 20 or 30, almost like 20 feet down, through a table with ease. 54-year-old man at the time. And you have a guy like Cody Rhodes who could barely suplex someone through a burning table off the top rope. That is my problem. So some of you AEW fans, you can come at me. You can come at me with the pitchforks. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I really don't. Because as this thing says, fuck your feelings. So if you're hurt by it, whatever. It's one of those things to me where why can't we just like wrestling, like what we like, and just agree to disagree? That's it. I mean, I'm not the be all end all. I don't know everything. I mean, there's sometimes I'm wrong. There's sometimes I'm wrong. There's sometimes I'm right. But at the same time, AEW is what I like to call. Eventually, they keep signing all these people over and over and over again. Eventually, AEW is going to have to start releasing people too, because the Khans own Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars stating the fact, baby. I'm stating the fact. So, what I'm trying to explain to you and to everyone else is AEW has probably been the best thing, and I agree with Xavier Michaels on this. AEW has probably been the best thing since WCW, the closest thing to WWE. I will give AEW the props there. And everybody knows how much I love Sting. Sting is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So Sting gets a pass to me. But at the same time, though, I don't feel like a person like Brandy Rose should be making $2 million a year. $2 million a year on AEW. I don't think Thunder Rosa should be making $2 million a year also. So, I think that AEW is overpaying some of their people, and that's where I feel like it's happening. I feel like Jeff Hardy will probably go there eventually because his brother's there. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Brock as champion. I know a lot of you guys some of you guys on Twitter were upset about it. I was excited about it. Mel's not a fan of Brock. She kind of hates him. I don't know why she doesn't like him, but maybe it's just his prestige. I don't know what it is, but she doesn't like him. Me, I love Brock. I love Brock from when he first came in. Now, I wasn't happy the fact that he beat up Hogan and Undertaker like he did, but needless to say, Brock's the best thing going right now, and the ratings were down with Big E as champion. Now, that's not just all Big E's fault. It is the writing, it is the content, and it is competing with NFL Monday Night Football. So I don't blame Big E like all the way, but Big E, he couldn't get away from that New Day, pancake, bootios kind of deal. He couldn't get away from it. And I felt like as champion, he should have gotten away from that character and become something else. And also, too, in the Wrestling Show's review about day one, they talk about the Becky Lynch Liv Morgan match. And I watched that one fully. Liv Morgan is nice to look at. I can see why fans like her because she's got that Harley Quinn look to her. She's got the thighs and the booty. I know she's trying to improve her wrestling skills. I know she's been trying to be learning from Natty. But let's face it. Becky Lynch is great. Liv Morgan is not on Becky Lynch's level. Period. I know they're trying to build Liv Morgan. I know Liv Morgan's kind of popular with some of the fans, but I hate to burst the bubble, but Liv Morgan is not a main event player. She's not a draw to me. I can see where she gets some fan reaction, but she's not that good on the mic. Her moveset is and Mel's one of those people just like Kate is, and Mel will watch the women's matches more, and she will critique the fuck out of them. She will be like, "Well, she didn't connect. Well, that wasn't that good. I mean, why didn't she do this?" And it was just, and when you get women like that who are basically not professionals, they're not in the actual WWE or AEW, but they're actually critiquing what these girls are doing on TV, then you know something's wrong. So, I want to tell you another reason why it's a good thing that Brock Lesnar being champ is. Brock Lesnar is a whole nother animal. He's got that UFC fame. Brock is a legit badass. Brock's a legit beast. Brock's a legit monster. Brock's everything and then some. His little stuff here with Sami Zayn on SmackDown has been hilarious. Kate Jones, I love Brock. Yeah, me too. I'm a big Brock Lesnar supporter. And one thing I've been working on, I'm going to tell everybody this finisher that I've been working on. It's a work in progress, but I have now found a way to capitalize on doing the F5. But when I've actually learned how to do the F5. But when I'm coming down with somebody, I switch it into the diamond cutter. Yep. It's kind of like a TKO, but what I do is I flip them around, catch them. So I'm thinking about trying some new stuff like that. That's one thing that I've wanted to do. And if you do get a chance to see me with the wrestling show, whether they come here or we go there, whichever works, I do wrestle with UFC gloves. I'm one of those people that I like wearing those little MMA fighting gloves. I'm actually getting some trunks, some UFC trunks made for me. So I'm getting those made. I got some knee pads that are getting made that have a couple of like horror icons on there. So you get a chance to see a little bit of me as who I am. So I don't want to beat up Matt. I don't want to beat Matt up. Nah. See, Matt's a guy I wouldn't want to do that to. Nah. Although Matt's got a really badass super kick. Who knows? Maybe we might see a. Now, Courtney Peterson wanted this match to happen. It may or may not happen. She said, why don't we have me, Kate, and Mel versus you and Matt in a handicap match? So those three girls versus me and Matt. Who knows? That might happen. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, though, I agree with Kate on the fact that Liv Morgan, she's pretty. She's nice to look at. But she doesn't do it in the ring. She doesn't do it for me. So to me, personally, no. But anyways, I explained why I like the reason why Brock won. I know some people are like, wow, they didn't give Big E a chance. Didn't give Big E long enough of a title run. Sometimes, maybe in some cases, Big E was not ready to carry that torch. Maybe Big E's not ready to run with that ball. And that could be one of the reasons why they took the belt off of him. I do believe if Brock was not in that match, I do think Seth Rollins would have probably won the belt. Because I think that's what they were gearing towards. if Brock wasn't in that match. But Vince McMahon, WWE, I know you guys watch. If you don't book Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 38 for the WWE Championship, you are completely and utterly stupid. You are a dumb ass jackass if you don't book Brock and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. I guarantee you, if you book those two behemoths at WrestleMania, you're going to get eyes on the product. You're going to get eyes on Raw. Raw's ratings are going to go up. People are going to get excited about WrestleMania. And we get to see two kick-ass guys go at it one-on-one. But post your comments down below. Do you think it's going to be Brock and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 38, or do you think it's going to be Brock and Roman Reigns title for title at WrestleMania? Post your comments down below. Hope everyone had a great holiday, great New Year's. I'm going to be doing a football video soon because my Titans are right there in the playoffs. Won the AFC South Division again. Second straight year. Third straight year in the playoffs. But if we win against the Texans, we get home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that. The beast, Derrick Henry, is coming back. So I'm happy. So we're going to talk about that as well. So get ready, everybody. We going. And I'm out.